wouldn't you agree with me that no U.S. citizen simply working lawfully should be arrested?
In law enforcement operations across the country, there are times when U.S.
It's a
citizens
simple yes or
may
no.
be arrested or detained until
Would
their
you agree
identity
with
is
me,
confirmed
Madam
and that they have
Secretary?
What happens when U.S. citizens get caught in immigration enforcement? This hearing reveals the truth.
Far more American citizens have been arrested by ICE and CBP, probably in the hundreds, perhaps the thousands. Have you met with any of the American citizens who have been detained or arrested by your agency?
The individuals that may have been detained and arrested were individuals that could have been obstructing law enforcement operations
haven't met
and
with
committing
them,
crimes
correct?
that way, and that we would have
I'd like
been
to
individuals
introduce you to
until their
three
identity
of them.
was confirmed.
Leo, Javier, and Miramar, would you please stand? These three individuals, Madam Secretary, were arrested by your agency, Leonardo Garcia Venegas, Javier Ramirez, and Miramar Martinez. Do you know what your agents did to Leo Venegas? I'll tell you. On May 21 of last year, they entered the private property at a house that he was constructing without consent, without a warrant, illegally. Again, on June 12th, they entered private property, a home where he was doing construction. He is a United States citizen, born in Florida. They seized him and ignored and disregarded his proof of citizenship. Wouldn't you agree with me that no U.S. citizen simply working lawfully should be arrested?
In law enforcement operations across the country, there are times when U.S.
It's a simple
citizens
yes or
may
no.
be arrested or detained until
Would
their
you
identity
agree
is
with me,
confirmed
Madam
and that they
Secretary,
haven't
that
committed a
U.S.
crime.
citizens should not be arrested when they are obeying the law, they have no criminal record, and they are engaged in a lawful activity?
Sir, in situations where law enforcement, regardless of the agency across the country, when there is probable
Let
cause,
me tell you
an
about
individual
Javier Ramirez. Do you know what your agents did to Javier Ramirez? He was on his own private property when he was assaulted by masked agents, his own property, without a warrant, without consent. They said, get him. He's Mexican. He was violently slammed into the ground while being handcuffed and taken into custody, despite telling officers that he is a United States citizen and even showing them his passport. And when he was asked what he was being arrested for, you know what they said? We don't know. Wouldn't you agree that targeting someone just because he is or looks like he is Mexican when he is a United States citizen is wrong?
Senator, we do not target people based on their race or ethnicity. We do targeted operations based on criminal backgrounds and information that we have.
Madam Secretary, Javier was detained for over 4 days. He was denied medicine that he needed for severe diabetes. He lost consciousness. He had severe hypoglycemia. Wouldn't you agree with me that medical treatment should have been provided to him?
Senator,
denied.
Medical treatment is provided to individuals
wasn't
in
for
our
him.
processing and
Wouldn't you agree that
detention
was wrong?
centers. Within 12 hours, they have a medical examination. We get them the prescriptions and medication that they need. They also have a full evaluation.
Will you commit to take
including-
action and to look into why he was denied medical treatment?
Yes, I will look into that case specifically for you, Senator.
Miramar Martinez is with us today as well. She's standing right behind you. She was on her way to donate clothing at her church when she came across an unmarked car. The agents sideswiped her car. 3 masked agents in camouflage stormed out, and one of them pulled out his gun and fired at her moving vehicle, hitting her 5 times. She almost bled to death. Wouldn't you agree that shooting Miramar Martinez on her way to donate clothing at her church, a United States citizen from Chicago, is wrong?
Sir, I don't know the situation or the case. I'll look into it to ensure that all the
I'm glad
procedures
you'll
were
look
followed
into
properly.
it. Miramar, by the way, was falsely charged with impeding law enforcement, but the case actually fell apart. The judge dismissed it as being trumped up. He dismissed it with prejudice. And in fact, the agent who shot her, I'm not going to name him, but you know who he is, was quoted on social media the day or so afterward, and he said, quote, "I fired 5 rounds, and she had 7 holes. Put that in your book, boys." And quote, "Cool. I'm up for another round of F around and find out." Will you join me in condemning that agent?
Sir, that situation, I don't know the details of, but I will look into that.
I don't know why you can't join me in saying it was wrong to shoot Miramar, almost cause her death, and then brag about it. Wouldn't you agree with me that it was wrong?
Well, sir, the way that you have portrayed it, it appears to be, but let me look into the case so I can speak to the specifics of it.
In fact, apparently, contrary to what you just said, you actually supported the agent who shot Ms. Martinez 5 times. He's quoted as saying, when he was asked, "Everyone has been supportive, including Chief Bovino, Chief Banks, Secretary Noem, and El Jefe himself," referring presumably to President Trump. Is the agent who shot Ms. Martinez still on the job?
Sir, our law enforcement officers conduct operations every day according to procedures and to training and the experience that they have. When there is
the agent
when there is something that
who
is not
shot
done
Ms.
properly,
Martinez still on the job carrying a gun?
I don't know the details. I will find out and get that information to you.
Would you agree with me that he shouldn't be on the job
I
carrying
will
a gun?
look into this case and get back to you on the details. I'm not
I think
familiar
Americans
with it.
would find it absolutely terrifying that that agent is still on the job carrying a gun. And the fact that you can't tell me that you will take him off?
Sir, do you know who Angel Samanago is? Do you recognize that name?
You know,
This is
I
an
think we're
individual
talking about
that was
an
murdered
egregious
in your
illegality
state
here,
by an
a
illegal
violation
alien,
of rights and trust.
duct taped.
The answers are
It looked
very
like it was
simple,
an assassination.
And I would have hoped
I haven't
that
heard you say one
could give
victim's
better
name
answers today
from illegal
to these
immigrants that
3
are here
individuals.
perpetuating
Would you like
violence
to say
against
anything
people.
to Ms. Miramar,
I'd
Ms.
like to hear you
Ramirez,
say the
or
name
Mr.
of one of our victims
Venegas?
of illegal criminal activity and fight for one of those victims so that we can stop as many of them from being created in the future by people who should never be in this country to begin with. Illegal individuals
the
and aliens that are
against
in this country.
Ms. Martinez were dismissed with prejudice.
Senator Richard Blumenthal is pressing a point that often gets lost in broader political rhetoric. When enforcement systems expand rapidly, mistakes don't just happen, they can have life-altering consequences, especially for U.S. citizens who get caught up in the process. For over a year, the claim that no American citizens had been detained by immigration authorities stood uncorrected. It took sustained oversight and investigation to even get an admission that at least 38 citizens had been affected. And as Blumenthal suggests, that number could be far higher. What's important here is not just the number, it's what those cases represent. These aren't abstract figures. They're people like Leonardo Garcia Venegas, working construction on private property, allegedly detained without a warrant despite having proof of citizenship. Or Javier Ramirez, who, according to the account presented, was tackled, detained for days, and denied critical medical care while insisting and even proving that he was a U.S. citizen. These kinds of incidents raise serious constitutional questions about due process, unlawful search and seizure, and equal protection under the law. When Secretary Kristi Noem responds, you can see a familiar pattern in government testimony, a reliance on procedure, a promise to look into it, and an emphasis on broader enforcement goals. But the tension in this exchange comes from the gap between policy on paper and outcomes in reality.
It's one thing to say agents don't target based on race or ethnicity. It's another to reconcile that claim with a case where someone was allegedly identified as Mexican and treated as a suspect on that basis alone.